Your Excellency, the President and the Commander-in-Chief of the Kenya Defense Forces, distinguished members of Parliament, both from the National Assembly and Senate. Your Excellency, before I continue, let me give my sister, the Minister for Environment and Forestry, just to say, she has a big speech, but I told her from the instruction, she looks for her own meeting. Even me, I left my speech. So this meeting belongs to PPG and belongs to the President. So 2 minutes.
Me and you will look for our own meeting, a public baraza somewhere. Your Excellency, the President, fellow Cabinet Secretaries, honorable members of PPG, the PPG leadership, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Your Excellency, I'm very happy and delighted to be speaking in this forum. One, because I'm an immediate former member of this caucus, the largest there is in Parliament, and I'm a proud former member of this caucus. At this point, I will also want to register the apologies of my colleague, the CS Rebecca Miano, under whose docket the assaults fall. She is out of the country on official duties. And also to thank the Women Caucus of PPG. Your Excellency, when you appointed us, before we even went for vetting, they actually invited us for breakfast. Honorable Duale, myself, and Honorable Murkomen to congratulate us. And these are things only women can think about. So we are still waiting for the main caucus to invite us. And Your Excellency, they might not have said it, but they were very happy and grateful to you, because particularly for me, being the first ever Maasai woman cabinet secretary is of significance, and only you made it happen. And also maybe the first or second pastoralist, CS, I think second woman. Your Excellency, I'll be very brief. As the CS under whose docket the whole climate discourse falls, I would like to start off by saying that we all know that we are in a critical point in time as the globe, and various scientific reports have been made, and even without the scientific reports, we know that the world is heading to a catastrophe if we don't deal on the issue of emission reduction. And Your Excellency, honorable members, targets have been made from the global space on what we need to do to reduce emissions. But from the just concluded COP27, one of the major debates that would have led us towards some milestones, and this is the debate about the phasing out of fossil fuels, that was lost in COP27, and therefore we are still on a bad trajectory. Several reports have also been made, including by UNEP and various UN bodies, around the issues of adaptation. We have problems with funding. There is a big financing gap, and a lot of money is required to go towards adaptation. It is no-brainer that the whole debate about who makes the most contributions towards global warming is out there. Your Excellency, of course, the developed nations are contributing the most, but we on this other end are suffering the harshest brunt. And for our pastoralist communities, we are again disproportionately affected. And this calls for very urgent action, both from an individual level, at government level, and at the global level. Your Excellency, as you would know, the whole the operationalization and debate around loss and damage, which again, the pastoralist communities are the most affected by the global trends, global climate trends. At least we have some white smoke around the development of our loss and damage fund, but again, there's a lot of vagueness from the development, from the developed nations who are supposed to contribute to this financing. From where I sit as at the Ministry of Environment and Forestry, again in step with the members of the globe, we are making our best. We are doing our best to make sure that we come up with our own nationally determined contributions of targets to reduce emissions, which now we are saying that by 2030, we need to reduce our emissions by 32% as a country. We have passed several policy and institutional frameworks are in place. And as members of parliament, we are going to work closely together in areas where we may need the intervention of parliament to actualize the direction that we need to take. I have said that it is clear that the ASAL counties are the most affected, and the droughts and the floods demonstrate the same. The frequency of droughts, this group here cannot be lectured on the effects of droughts and floods because we are living with them every day. Your Excellency, I just wanted to say that despite the global action that is being taken around climate change, from our own space as a country, we have the initiative to grow 15 billion trees, and this falls under my ministry, and this aims to increase the tree cover from where we stand now at 12.13% to 30%. And this group here holds the biggest opportunity because this is where we find a lot of space. We have the support of Kenya Forestry Research Institute, where we are putting in a lot of effort at research. We will do species matching to make sure that as we go around the country doing tree growing, we shall bring to your doorsteps the species that we know will thrive in the ASAL, arid and semi-arid lands, but we need your support. Because when we say that we are lacking in adaptation financing from developed countries, we have what it takes in our hands. And this is the nature-based solutions. And one of them is what the direction through which His Excellency the President is taking us to make sure that we create carbon sinks within our counties, within our constituencies, to make sure that we are doing our bit with what we are able to do. This initiative will take a whole government and whole society approach, and we are targeting to rehabilitate 10.6 million hectares, most of which are found within the arid and semi-arid lands. Your Excellency, in terms of climate financing, with what we are able to work on, the government and partners through the financing locally led climate action, the FLOCA, managed by the National Treasury, ensures that climate finance reaches the lowest levels of administration, and it also gives opportunities for communities to decide on their priorities for climate action. Your Excellency, as you would be aware, the FLOCA funds are still held up in, at the Treasury level. We need to unlock them, and we will need the support of the Senate and the National Assembly to do that as a matter of priority. Honorable Duale is harassing me here to make sure, but allow me, Your Excellency, to talk about the carbon markets. The initiative by His Excellency the President on planting 15 billion trees is targeted to mobilize, to create carbon sinks for within our locality as a country. And the carbon markets approach should be of interest to this group because it will incentivize the landowners to restore and conserve degraded ecosystems. And I would urge this team of PPG to work closely with the Northern Rangeland Trust, which I'm sure most of you are familiar with, and also to visit and look into Kasigao Carbon Project, the Chulu Hills, and Mikoko Pamoja projects. And these are projects that are successfully undertaking carbon markets and carbon trading. And I think this is the way we need to go. And from our end, again, we will be working on policies and regulations to actualize and operationalize the carbon markets. But we already have some projects that are ongoing and successful. We need to look into those so that we can replicate as we work towards, greening Kenya. We should also have benefits accruing to the communities. Thank you very much, Your Excellency, and I finish it there.